stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, everybody. We'll do our introductions. To my left, I have Sapphire Rhodes, our Assistant General Manager. I'm Jerry Mubo, your General Manager. We also have Lynn Tavernetti, Board President, Jeannie Czar, Board Vice President, Jerry Monahan, Board Director, Fred Weck, Board Secretary, Claudine Diaz, Board CFO. In the audience, we also have Cindy Graves, your Activities Director. Nellie in the back is helping me with my audio-visual. And we also have Tad Creasy, our Regional Manager from First Service. Okay, we'll go on to a couple of announcements. First off, we're very happy to announce that after long and hard searching for Sapphire's replacement as the project coordinator, we have located somebody. Her name is Amy Bardos, and she started with us on Monday. So if you see a strange person running around, you stop her, shake her hand, and welcome her to our Four Seasons family. All right, I'm going to turn the mic over to Sapphire. She's got a couple of announcements, and then also Lynn as well.
Good afternoon, board and homeowners. I am giving two updates today. Your first update is on the spa pool heater up at the summit. The issue with the heater was caused by incorrect installation of the venting stacks. This issue was addressed under warranty by a vendor sent out by K-Hub on 3 occasions. We then came to find out that the issue was compounded and caused damage to the heater that was irreparable. At this point, it is an insurance claim against the original installer from K-Hub Nannying. Their technician will be here early next week to get the specs that he needs to order the replacement heater. We are almost to the end of that process. Thank you for your patience. The next update is for the card room chairs. The card room in the lodge, we did have an issue with the chairs in there. People were falling due to the wheels. We removed the wheels. We then were getting complaints that they didn't move well on the carpet and that also they were too short. We looked into replacing the height of those chairs, and we also were in the process of reupholstering them. At this point, Len and Fred, through the Facilities Committee, have given us permission to purchase new chairs. The bulk of the cost of those new chairs will be covered under your reserves, and Jerry and I will order 3 samples next week. They'll be put into the card room for suggestion, and when we find out which is the most popular, we will order and fill out the card room with that type.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the landscaping performance that's taken place over the last 6 weeks. As I mentioned in our town hall meeting, we have seen Brad Holmes retire. And if you've ever been associated with a large company where the company was either reducing its workforce or was going out of business, you know that the employees, understandably so, immediately start looking for work somewhere else and kind of slack off on the work that they're supposed to do during that time frame. So their performance goes way down, and the new contractor in our case is not under contract yet to pick it up. So we lost quite a bit of the efficiency and the performance of Brad Holmes' crew as those people trying to look for new jobs. Also, because we have 2 new contractors and one of our existing contractors trying to build up for their new work, an issue developed with one of them, which was the O'Connell landscaper for the Phase A area, which is most of the front yard cost centers. Their legal department came in mid-June and said they didn't want to sign part of the contract that said they would do background checks on all their employees. We went back and said that's unacceptable. If you don't sign it, you won't have a contract. So then the lawyers from them and the lawyers from us got together, which is always a problem. And they came forward with an alternate solution, which was they would have background checks on some of their employees, but not on the temporary ones. We went back to them and said that's unacceptable, and prepared our 2 new contractors to possibly take over Phase A from O'Connell. On the last work day of the month, late in the afternoon, they finally signed the contract. And then I signed for the HOA. It was about 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon. During that time frame, O'Connell, at least from my perception, did not step up and bring in new people for the new workload that they were assuming, and might even have had to relocate some of the people who are currently working here. The bottom line to all of the shenanigans was that our landscape suffered from it. And of course, June being the middle of the growing season didn't help. So we're hoping now that that is all behind us and the performance will pick up, but we'll have to watch it closely. One other issue I wanted to address is in some of our rooms we have cabinets like you see up front here with locks on them. There seems to be a misunderstanding that some of these locks are accessible by homeowners. That's not true. We don't keep any homeowner property in them, and the homeowners do not have access or should not have access to those cabinets when they are locked. The lodge attendants will take care of unlocking and locking those. Thank you.
All right. Continuing on our agenda, homeowner input. This is a reminder that homeowner input is limited to 3 minutes per homeowner, and only 1 request to speak form may be submitted per homeowner. There will be no sharing or passing of time to another person. Homeowner input may be held for a maximum period of 30 minutes before the board meeting begins to allow the board to proceed with the business portion of the meeting. This portion of the meeting is limited to board participation only. Residents are welcome and encouraged to stay for the full meeting to witness the business of the corporation taking place by your governing agents. In addition, if you can please silence your cell phones. I received a couple of comments. As a reminder, it's distracting, and if you do so, that'd be great. So we'll start with our first speaker, who is Claudia Rosie.
Thank you. Good afternoon, honorable members of the board and our Four Seasons neighbors. I'm Claudia Rossi. I live at 1520 Belterra, and I'm here on 3 different topics today, all related. First thing is, later in your agenda, you are going to see a base neighborhood group application. We would like to be formally recognized by the Cahove Association as a membership group, primarily a social organization, to have neighborhood parties, holiday events. We will open those up to the community as a whole. And as evidence of that, we just held our second 4th of July bash in our neighborhood. It was a wonderful success. We had 135 sold tickets. It was about a 35% increase in attendance. We did have a live band this year. And a lot of street dancing. You know, when you have a good party when there's a lot of people dancing, and boy, the dancing went on for hours. It was a very hot, humid day. We did have 2 people suffer a little bit from heat stroke, but they recovered really well. We did hear a complaint. The guard shack got a call about 7 p.m. about the noise in our neighborhood and the live band. And they wanted to know if it was a sanctioned event, and thank God the guards were informed and said yes, they did put in for it, it was approved, and sorry, the music's going to be going on for a while. So that's all we know. It was a great success, and thank you to those that attended. We did sell tickets outside of our neighborhood, so most of the attendees actually were not from the base neighborhood, which was nice. The second thing I'm here about is, or excuse me, the third thing I'm here about is the curb and gutter replacement project that went on in the base neighborhood at the same time. We had gotten a flyer the last week of June. They went and knocked on doors, put a flyer out on every home that said the project would start on July 5th. The project started on Friday, June 30th. It affected our stage presentation, it affected our street kind of layout that we had previously given the board. We were not aware of so much curb and gutter replacement going to go on in our neighborhood. So it did affect where we placed the stage, when we had to place the stage. I also want to tell you that the best management practices, it's called BMPs in the construction industry, I don't believe we're adhered to during that project. The project has now ended and our neighborhood looks worse than when it started. There is a lot of cement debris left on the asphalt. There is a lot of sediment at the corner of Arroyo and Coronado, across from the storm drain, and it's up into the kind of wheelchair access curbing. The debris, the cement, watery cement debris sediment has now settled into the pavement and it is not washed off. The city street sweeper came by yesterday and it didn't do anything to take away the stains that are on the asphalt. Also, thank you, that is my time. I just want to say that they did not adhere to using dust control standards or the water truck. I saw the water truck leave our neighborhood at 3:30 in the afternoon, and it only washed down part of Edgebrook and part of Arroyo. It left all of the other half of Arroyo and all of Belterra unwashed. So they never washed the streets down.
Thank you, thank you. We'll advise Kayla Manion regarding your concerns about that street work. Our next speaker is Ron Morgan.
Take your time,
Want to pick that, Ryan?
Is that correct, Sandy?
Good job.
Good job.
Speak up.
Speak up. Yes, speak up. Can hear you. My name is Ron Morgan. I live at 180 Salt Creek. We've been owners here for over 10 years. And I want to speak about the RV parking. I've had an RV since the very beginning, even had before we moved here. And I've always parked. Hold it, hold it. I've been an RV owner since we began to live here. And I've always gotten permission to park in front of the house with a piece of paper that authorizes it, and sometimes even for 2 days, which is wonderful. It gives us time to get it loaded and everything. And I first talked to all of our neighbors to tell them what I was going to do, and they all were fine with what I was going to do. I've never had a complaint. Never had anybody concerned about the way I park, because I always put the cones out for the safety. And if I plug into the electric, I tape over the part across the sidewalk. So I'm always legal, I've never had any complaints, and I don't understand what the complaint is now that I've been hearing about. So I just wanted to say that I'm in favor of letting the RV rules remain the same, and they not be changed to affect our ability to park at Four Seasons. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Bill Guy.
I'll wait till you back.
Well, that's okay.
Okay, my name is Bill Guy. I live at 1566 Turtle Creek. Lived here for 12 years almost. Come on October the 25th. So I've been here since day one. We've been parking our RV. We've been RV owners for years before we came here. We came here and somebody came in and said, hey, you know, we want one-day parking for RVs. So they passed a rule that we can only park overnight for 24 hours. I was not in favor of that rule, but I follow it. I parked one night. I'm going to give you an example of what I have to go through for RV camping. I'm taking a long trip this trip. I picked up my RV this morning. By the time I got home, it was 10 o'clock. I washed the front of the car because you got to get it ready for the trip. Windows. I then caulked a couple spots on the roof. By that time, it was almost noon. I had lunch. I loaded a couple more things into the RV. Then I had to get dressed to come over here to this meeting. I'm now going to be leaving here, going over to Walmart to pick up the things that I don't have in my RV. Then I will come back, finish loading up most of my dry goods and stuff in the RV. I will not leave that RV overnight because I know the rules. I will take it over here, get a park permit, to park here one night. Then in the morning, I will pick up that RV, bring it back over there, and load it up because it takes 8 to 10 hours for the refrigerator to start working. And you can't start loading cold goods and stuff to the refrigerator until that. So I would be loading that vehicle up in the afternoon, all the other stuff that I haven't loaded up today. Or probably in the evening because I also belong to the Bridge Club, so I will be here tomorrow afternoon at the Bridge. So you understand it takes roughly 2 days to really load an RV. 1 day is not enough. We are an active community. We have different groups here. We have bridge clubs, we have tennis clubs, we have bocce ball, we have all these other RV clubs. They all cost money. I know the bocce ball courts, they're $30,000 to $40,000. Horseshoes, another $3,000 or $4,000. We're going to do the aerobics room. That's going to cost $20,000 to $30,000. We got a big cost over here for the paddleball and pickleball course. It's going to cost $40,000 to $50,000. We're spending a lot of money on all these different groups. The RV groups, all they want is a little time and some parking spaces. I know there's new parking down at the new resort or new lodge, and there's 50 parking spaces down there roughly. I think it was 49 to be exact. There are 13 at one end of that place. It would be a beautiful place to park 2 more RVs. And I think with more people moving in here and more RVs, it is necessary that we have more parking for RVs. And also, possibly, start allowing us to have 2 days in front of our houses. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Herb Sterner.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Irby, and I live on Green Creek and adjacent to the Potrero Creek Trail. And my issue here today is actually as a stand-in for John Morney, who couldn't be here because he's traveling. He's up in someplace in Northern California. At any rate, there is a severe danger, imminent danger of fire going along that trail. And that trail is in non-compliance with many of the CAL FIRE people, with the fire marshal, and it just needs to be addressed. A couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, we had a board member, we had the safety facilities committee person, we had the landscape facility person, we had Jerry from from a management company come out and view exactly what we were talking about. For the past year, 2 years at least, photographs, magazine articles, everything depicting the dangers of the trees that are along that trail coming close to our homes. It is John called me and he asked me to read this, but it's really too long for what I've done, because I made a copy for everybody here. Let me give it out. You can read it at your leisure. You can read it while I'm talking. And you can pass it out if you like, because my minutes are going. And something really needs to be done. And it's called, what do I want to say? It's like a passive aggression, okay? If you know of something that's a danger and you turn your back to it, it's as if you were part of that danger. If there is ever, God forbid, a fire along there and catches up to the houses, and this board and our management company does nothing about it and keeps turning their heads and he's pointing at, well, it's not our problem, it's a K-House problem. No, it's not. It's a conservancy problem. No, it's not. It's a homeowner problem. Okay? It is a problem. And make no difference whose problem it is, it becomes our problem. Because once somebody gets hurt, somebody gets burned, some house goes down, the liability against this association will be astronomical. It would bankrupt this place. It would bankrupt the entire community. Really good. And at any rate, something needs to be done. And one thing that really comes to mind is why hasn't anybody, previous boards, this board, previous management company, this management company, or change of name of company, whatever, why hasn't anybody gone to City Hall and said, let me see the title on this property back in 2004, or 94, whenever whenever K-House planned this place, there's a plot plan out there, okay? We know exactly who owns the hill going down, we know who owns the flatland, and we know the upland, okay? It really needs to be addressed. And that's my statement, and that's for John, and he is spearheading this. He'll be back, and we'll talk at the next meeting. Thank you.
Next speaker is Roy Wingham.
First turn is over.
I'm done.
Oh, okay.
I'm just Sergeant of Arms.
This is my long list of complaints here. I won't take that long.
Turn on the mic.
Just get it close to your mouth.
Right,
Turn it off.
Can you hear this better?
There we go.
Okay. My long list of complaints here. Not all complaints. First thing I'd like to mention is that I'd like to compliment Sapphire for her efforts in trying to correct the problem that a lot of us have had in the swimming pools, especially ever since the one at the summit opened up a couple of years ago. And she's telling me a lot of things that are going to happen, and her and whoever she's worked with has done a good job, because it's not an easy problem to solve, it doesn't seem like. My main reason for being here, though, was to complain about the landscaping at the lower Paseos. And Lynn has already talked about this, and I might be wasting my time, because I've been wasting my time all along. Last week, I even, after a couple of complaints and talking with Jeff and the whole landscape committee, along with the O'Connell guy, the last 2 weeks, we stood there and looked at the problems, and he talked about the problems, then he went somewhere else, and the next week came, I saw him again, talked about the problems. So then I got a piece of devil grass that was about 6 feet long, in case they didn't know what devil grass was, growing all along the sidewalk, and other pieces of a bush growing out this far on the sidewalk. We had to walk in the street to go up to the mailbox, and brown grass along with the green grass. They didn't cut it, but still brown. Some of it's brown and some of it's green. And I hope that, I don't know when this is going to take place, that we're going to have a new contractor instead of O'Connell to fix that, or what?
No, it's still O'Connell.
Still O'Connell, but it's going to be taken care of or something?
Well, we will correspond with their regional manager.
Oh, more talk, okay. Well, that's my story.
Our next speaker is Terry Silva.
You've addressed the issue, thank you, Sapphire.
You're welcome.
Okay, I don't have any other homeowner comment forms, so we'll move on with our agenda. The next item on our agenda is the consent calendar, and the purpose of the consent calendar is to make a single motion to approve all included items. If for a particular reason an item needs to be discussed or pulled from the consent calendar, then a call to remove that item should be made by a board member. Currently on the consent calendar are the minutes from June 8th and June 19th, the May 2017 financial statements, the CD and investment plan. There were no financial analysis requests, and there were no lien or foreclosure actions at this time.
To approve the consent calendar, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, our next item on the agenda is to report on executive session or action items taken between meetings. And this morning at 9 a.m., the board held an executive session where they discussed 2 delinquencies. They discussed 8 enforcement hearings. They renewed the All About Cleaning, Wildlife Pest Management, and Consolidated Construction contracts for another year. They also reviewed legal correspondence. They denied a request to repair or to reimburse for vehicle damage repairs due to the gate arms. And they reviewed personnel items with no action at that time. Our next item is the committee reports, and we'll start with architectural.
Hi, my name is Jerry Bonner. I'm the chairman. My name is Jerry Bonner, and I'm the chairperson for the Architectural Review Committee. And I guess we've had 14 new applications, of which 12 were approved. We had 34 addendums were submitted, which 32 were approved, and 17 Exhibit Cs, which went out for inspection, and 14 of those have been completed. We had one person that we did a review of to come on the committee, Steve Coley, and with Jeannie Czar, we felt he would be a very good addition, so I asked the board if they could please approve his acceptance for being part of our committee.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept Steve Cooley to be part of the Architectural Review Committee.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Steve Cooley to the Architectural Review Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lori Larson, and I am on the editorial board, which is part of the communications committee. We are always looking for new members who are strong, who are grammar and spelling nerds. So if anybody gives that description, you must have Kevin apply to one of our meetings. We are starting something new. We have some new people, thanks to the last recruitment. We got several new people on our board who have some very professional backgrounds in journalism, which made me realize that those of us who don't have professional backgrounds in journalism were like me, who minored in English, loved to read, et cetera, but I've never really done professional editing or anything like that. So we're going to start some training classes. We are very fortunate to have a professional editor on the editorial board, and he is going to hold some training sessions for us, not only just in grammar, spelling, and punctuation to remind all of us, but in standardization in ways that we can help people who are submitting articles, etc., how to do it even better. So it's always with the view of making the breeze even more pertinent and relevant to our community. So I hope you like it. And the picture on the front of the breeze this month, mine.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to turn around a little bit. So the Communications Committee is now in the survey business. So who's gotten their ad hoc survey, their ad hoc recreation committee survey? Everybody who's subscribed to the AM report should have gotten it. You can click through it from the report. You can access it from your email that you probably got. You have until 5 o'clock on Monday. Let's get her done getting some amazing information. And that is our purpose. So I just want to let everyone in this room know and hope that I'm whispering something in your ear that you're going to share with your neighbors. Get them to take these surveys, every single one, because we are collecting a very rich pool of data about the community and the wants, needs, things that we may not have even thought of that we need to take a look at, that we will be analyzing over time. The Communications Committee has a nice neutral stance on all of this. So, what we're helping, anybody who's commissioning a survey with us is our customer. The board is our customer, First Service Residential is our customer, the committees are our customers, and that's how we see it. So we're here to provide a great service to the community. We need everybody's participation. So on the topic of participation as well, we really need a couple more people. This is fun work. The Communications Committee is into some territory that has never been approached before in here with the website, and everything takes time. The fewer people that we have working on this, the longer things are going to take. The longer you're waiting for changes that you all would like to see. So we really need some people to step forward. We need at least 2 or 3 more people to roll up their sleeves, maybe learn something new, maybe bring some past skills, education, knowledge, skills, experience to the process. We are eager to have you join us. We meet the first Wednesday of every month. Now, Lori referenced the training. First training will be at 9 o'clock on August 2nd. That will roll into the Breeze Editorial Board meeting at 10 o'clock and the Communications Committee meeting at 11 o'clock. We would love to have as many people show up at some of these things as show up at other meetings. We'd love to have you come and see what we're doing and hear about it. Thank you.
Martha, is that survey going on the website? Because there's not a lot of people that have that AM news.
The survey is on the website. It's on the front page of the website. And I'm so glad you asked. If you don't have the AM news, you have a neighbor who says, what's that? Help them out. Send them down here. Say, you can't live without this. You can't be an active participant in this community. And I'll get on my soapbox for 2 seconds here and say, no matter what we're asking you about, we all have an ownership stake in everything here, which is the sole most important reason why we want everybody to participate. Thank you.
Martha, I have a question. How will we get feedback?
The feedback is, this particular survey, I'm glad you asked, ends at 5 o'clock on Monday evening. Once that happens, we will be providing some analysis. The tool itself provides some analysis, but it's boilerplate stuff, right? So we need to take that information, put it into digestible formats. Some things are going to be of greater interest to different groups involved, but as far as the whole community goes, I think you're going to be really interested to see what is shared, and that will be pushed out to the community and record. People can ask for a copy, that sort of thing. Does that answer the question? Any other questions? Okay, do your surveys.
Wasn't that ad hoc committee finished on Tuesday?
No.
Everybody's meeting?
The survey closes at 5 o'clock on Monday.
Well, he said it was concluded and it was going to be turned over to the board that day.
No. That was a preliminary. What he's talking about is that the Ad hoc Recreation Committee looked for a preview of what we were getting. How many people had responded? What was it telling us so far? But if you'll recall, we marked everything incomplete. Everything is incomplete right now. Gives us sort of the compass seems to be going this direction, but it's not finished. Thank you for asking.
I thought it was complete.
Board? Okay, thank you. Sorry for the extra time, guys. Thank you.
For the first item, we're going to meet with the City of Beaumont. We want to make sure we've got all the necessary regulatory knowledge for all of our projects going forward.
Louder.
Hate these things. Anyhow, we're going to the City of Beaumont to make sure we're regulatorily current. Acoustic treatment of the RCN, we're assisting others with the engineering, and that is an ongoing project. Storage, we're still looking at various locations, has widespread interest across the entire community. Fenced off leash area for dogs, I think we're pretty much convinced of the desirability. The question is where, and that's still an ongoing discussion. We're looking at the easement area, and we're still involved in many further questions of analysis and discussion. Solar is an ongoing question, and we continue to look at that regularly, at least annually. We expect the cost effectiveness will change over the coming months, and we'll stay abreast of it. Sun shading for various outdoor activities, that continues to be of interest to many people, and we will watch that continuously. And the expansion of the amphitheater, our question really is not desirability, but where on the priority list do we put that given the usage for the amphitheater versus the other needs of the community. Any questions?
Can you hear me? Nope. Can you hear me now? Okay, I've been, personally, the last couple of weeks been out, so I haven't been able to really prepare anything for this meeting. I think there's 4 things I want to talk about. One is, last week we were supposed to have a county chief come in and speak about our fire dangers in our area, especially with the last few brush fires we had pretty adjacent to our community. Unfortunately, there was a mix-up on June 6th at 6 o'clock p.m. He was supposed to speak, but we didn't have a venue, and we didn't have also the promotional part of it to get him to speak, so we canceled it. So he's currently on vacation, so we'll go ahead and reschedule that, and it's very important that he comes by and speaks to all of us regarding fire safety. Also, I want to talk about the CERT program. We had tentatively had a CERT training scheduled for August 15th, 16th, and 17th, but we also had to cancel that because there was a conflict with the instructors that were to instruct the team over here. Unfortunately, I guess Cabazon had priority over us, so they got it. I have a committee member rescheduling our CERT training. We don't have a set date yet. So once that date comes, we'll go ahead and advertise the date. Also, there's a lot of information that we're going to be putting on the website. We have our team we got together. We identified what we're going to put on the website. We have yet to get communications to set that up. Let's see. Oh, what else? Oh, communication room. We have an emergency operations center over here at the RCN, Rec Center North. Unfortunately, one of the radios has malfunctioned. We use this for emergency communication. In case there's a major disaster here at Four Seasons, we can get out to the rest of the state, to other states, through our communication network that we have set up. We have UHF, VHF, and HF, and we also have a person that will be reporting health and safety for anybody that needs to report to people that outside of the state. Unfortunately, one of the systems not working. We're characterizing cabling and antenna systems, if that's the problem, or it's the radio. But we're working on that also. Let's see. I think that's probably about it. Do you guys have any questions? No questions? Okay, well, I'm going to end at that. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lou Ortega. I'm the Secretary of the Facilities Committee.
Turn it this way.
This way? Okay. I'm Lou Ortega. I'm the Secretary of the Facilities Committee, and I want to give you some information about what we're doing. Some things have changed since the slide was first presented to me, so I'll have to go with what I had. With the UV light and automated systems for the pools, that has been ongoing for some time, but it should be voted on by the board today, and it should be approved. The bocce ball court construction is delayed due to a lack of materials. Like most construction and remodeling projects, they almost never come in on time and on budget. But I think this time we can safely say that they should both be ready by the end of August, early part of, not August, end of July, early August. And the horseshoe courts are also on track to be ready about the same time. If you have visited the area at all, you can see that almost everything is ready, all the tape is gone, and most of the construction debris has been cleared away. So we should be playing by end of July, early August. The painting schedule for the RCN, the salon, fitness building, and the lodge is underway, and hopefully that will also be completed by August. With regards to the pickleball and the paddleball conversion, we did have the ad hoc recreation committee headed by Randy Ball, which was examining the use of our courts. Now on Tuesday, as was discussed previously, Randy did say we were done, but we were done with the actual meetings, and now we have to compile the data and prepare a report for the board. So that's where that particular issue is. On the sidewalk repair, or fixing the trip hazards, most of that work was done by our general manager, Jerry Mubo, and by Anita Worthy of the safety committee and the facilities committee, which is to thank you for that. The installation of the automatic doors for the restroom across from the theater and at the lodge door have been completed, so we are grateful for that and thanks a lot. We would ask the board to ratify Bruce Lewis as the new member of the facilities committee.
I'd like to make a motion that we ratify Bruce Lewis as a new member of the facilities committee.
Thank you. The facilities committee is the...
We have to vote. We have to vote.
I thought you just voted. No.
No.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, it's moved and seconded to ratify Bruce Lewis for the facilities committee. All in favor?
Aye. Now I thank you. The facilities committee meets the third Tuesday of the month in Recreation Center North, the first Red Room, Activity Room 1. Now, we do have a beautiful community. We want to keep it beautiful and we want to keep it running well. Everybody likes to go to the pool and it's working well and everything's fine. And also to the spas and make sure everything is working the way that it should be. If you have any interest in any of that, would you please attend one of our meetings? You can see what we do and see who's there. If you don't want to or not interested or can't join the committee, we also ask you to please come and make suggestions and join us on the third Tuesday of the month. Our next meeting is this Tuesday, and hopefully we'll see some of you there. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Barry Genetti with the Finance Committee. As you can see, the May financials that just were approved by the board look pretty impressive if you just look at the numbers year to date. But you have to understand it's a fine balancing act between income and expenses. And it looks like we're ahead of the game right now. It looks like at the end of May we had a net income of $74,000. What we need to keep in mind is we are growing, so the income line is going to grow as we get more houses in here, but the expense line is growing too. And one of the major focuses that my committee has right now is ensuring we have a good budget for next year, but also out into the next 2 or 3 years. That's why we're looking at a budget projection of where we're going to be, picking up a new recreation center, the courts, and the cost and landscaping for the areas that we're going to pick up, the new common areas, employees and everything else to balance out the income that we have. So that's the work we have in there. We also have ready to publish in the next issue of Breeze an article on our budgeting process, so you have some kind of idea of what goes into doing that and separating out. I hear everybody say we have a lot of money. We got $8 million in the bank. We're really flush with money. Well, you have to understand part of that money is a capital reserve fund. And the capital reserve fund is to replace items that may be like this building at some point, the roof on the building, the air conditioners on the building. It's not to be used for general operational expenses. That is the other part of our budget. That's what we're trying to hone in on right now and get a good fix, because we just can't keep coming up with new projects all along and outspending our income level. We have money to do our replacements. We're very good. Our budget, our capital reserve is about 120+% funded, which means we can take care of anything right now that we own, but it's the operational thing. So we'll have an article just on our budget process. Our next Finance Committee meeting, we're having a special meeting with the committee chairs or their representatives to discuss their needs for next year, so that we don't get these unidentified needs that come up in the middle of the year when we already have a budget in place, and all of a sudden we have this important priority that pops up. It's not a capital priority. So we're going to look at that so we can embed those kind of items into the budget and then make a good recommendation forward for our budget process. And then our next regular finance meeting will be following that on Tuesday, the 25th at 1 p.m. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Vince Conway. I am chair of the Landscape Committee, and we have been very busy over the last few months. A lot of changes have been made. Some of the projects that we're currently working on right now, the palm trees at the lodge back here, the proposal has been approved to trim the palm trees. I know they're dropping a lot of little pods and everything all over the place. Hopefully within the next few days, crews will be out there and start trimming on those trees. We did remove 2, for those of you who remember these, on Trail C, we removed 2 dead poplar trees. Another project that we're working on was planting the red carpet rose on the corner of Belterra and Four Seasons. It says it's scheduled to begin. Since I made that up, they've actually done it. It is complete. As you drive by, take a look at that. It looks very nice. We are awaiting proposal from Artistic to replace the dead plants on Glacier Park. They are currently adding amendments to the soil. We did soil testing and found out that the soils were lacking in different nutrients, so we're adding amendments right now before we plant. No reason to plant in soil that isn't going to help the plants grow. We're also awaiting proposal from Artistic for the homes on White Sands. They've got a lot of dead blue fescue grass in that neighborhood that's been there for years. It's time to replace that and spruce up that community a little bit. We're awaiting a proposal from Park West to replace the dead flax on Harvard Peak Slope at Breckenridge when you first come in off of that back gate there. That slope is looking a little bare. Also, from Park West, we're awaiting proposal to plant the slopes on Stellar Peak. They were planted very sparsely at the beginning, and they need to be spruced up a bit with some more different types of plants. As far as O'Connell, we're awaiting proposal to replace the overdying plants in the Springdale's landscape. Like Barry mentioned, that's something we're going to be presenting on the 24th for the 2018 budget. Another area that we've just completed, the Lindsay Peak Slope, has been replanted. And we are working as best we can with all of the new contractors. I got an email that O'Connell is adding more personnel to their crews to help take care of some of the additional items that they picked up. Last week, the Landscape Committee took a walk for the first time with Artistic Maintenance up on Green Creek Trail and all the cost center homes up in that area. I just received their 2-page report on what we found up there, items that need attention and replacement. And the Landscape Committee will be walking tomorrow on Trail B, which is a concern for a lot of homeowners. I've also found out that the fire marshal has been notified that we would like someone out here to take a look at that area. So there are a lot of things going on right now with the Landscape Committee. Our meetings are on the 3rd Tuesday, the next one's July 18th at 1 p.m. All of you are welcome to come, and please know that if you do bring up concern, we do take it seriously. We may not have anything for you within the first few days or maybe in the first few weeks, but all of these take a little while to smooth out the problems that are brought up. But again, if you do come to our meetings, please voice your comments, concerns, and we do take them seriously. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Jill Anderson, chairperson for the Lodge Committee. Lodge Committee began about 7 months ago, and during that time, we grew from 2 people to 7 members. We've completed a lot of various projects, big and small, and we still have much more to do. We would not have been able to function as smoothly without our volunteers. Some have helped us in the library, movies, ballroom, just to name a few. First Service Management staff has also been available to assist us whenever we need them, and they know that that's quite a lot of time. So after our June meeting, we hosted a luncheon for those wonderful individuals who have helped us in so many ways. Our committee members brought all the side dishes, desserts, supplies, drinks, and I brought 4 pizzas from the bistro. I had so much fun getting to know one another, and I created a lodge certificate for each one of our guests, and I even wrote Jerry Mupo a poem, of which I will not give. We can't wait until we have another one. The library received a donation of about 200 books, and Dave and Mary Alice Chorba have been sorting through them and putting them away. And the ones we can't use are the ones they replace. We're going to donate to the VA. The movie theater rules are going to be up for hopefully approval today, but they are already posted in the theater, I hear, and at the front desk. They clarify procedures and conduct in the theater. Surveys are being created by Martha. Thank you very much, Martha. And they're going to be going out very soon. They revolve around the salon, billiards, and the bistro. So when you get them, please fill them out, and we will get all that information together too. Lou Ortega has just said that we have broken up all the areas of responsibility for lodge facilities and safety committees. It's been completed and with a few changes. I know Lodge Committee is now we're going to be in charge of the RCN building, but facilities did pick up the exercise and gym in the spa building. The Lodge Committee made changes on their charter and we sent it to the board, but I think it's going to be next month that it comes forward. At our June meeting, Bob Powers from Ceramics made a great presentation on the remodel for the arts and crafts room. We want it to be combined with just a door into the old computer room. The plan would be much more cost-effective than previous ideas, faster to complete, and more space will improve all of the safety issues that we have right now. Barbara DePoma has been talking to the leaders of each of the creative classes and asking them for input, changes, and everything. And when we get all of that, we will gather it and we will have bids, go to finance and the board. The Lodge Committee meets the 4th Wednesday of the month. The next meeting will be June 26th at 11 o'clock in the RCN Conference Center. July. I'm sorry, I don't know what month it is. I just want one little footnote. I'm certain that it's probably an oversight of Jerry Bonner and maybe of First Service, but I think when a committee of, like our committee, 4 really hardworking individuals all resign within a period of 7 days, I think they should at least be recognized. And that one is Brian Anderson, my husband, who was the chairperson, Gary Sitritz, who was the co-chair, 2 members that just began not too long ago, Barbara Mull and Carol Teague. And I tell you, these people were very hardworking. They abided all the architectural rules and regulations, and at least it should have been said that they've done a good job. Thank you.
Well, I want to let you know that the board got a copy of the letter, and we decided not to take any action on the change to liaisons.
Okay, thanks.
Sherry?
I'm Sherry Howard with the Rules and Rec Committee. And what we've been doing is we've discussed RV in the parking lot, and we did send some recommendations to the board. And I did hear earlier about RVs in front of the house. I invite you to come to the Rules and Regs Committee meetings and let us hear them. And we also discussed non-residents using our facilities. I think at this time we felt that it wasn't too much of an issue right now, but we're aware of it. We've discussed the pool area and what's going on with the pool. The tennis tournaments. There's a perception that there's a lot of tournaments, which we were assured there are not. The club has set times on their courts, and other than that, it's all free and open play for everyone. We've also discussed the craft fair. We made some recommendations. That's up for the board to review. And very soon, we're going to be getting back to reviewing the CCNRs with the courts in mind, updating the rules. We've also discussed for sale signs in cars in the parking lot, and we're making recommendations to the board. We also have what I'd like to ask the board if we can ratify Roman Dominguez.
I make a motion we accept Roman Dominguez to the Rules and Regulation Committee.
Seconded. It's been moved and seconded to appoint Roman Dominguez to the Rules and Regs Committee. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you very much and congratulations. And our next meeting is August 10th, 9 o'clock. It's a Tuesday in the RCN. And I do invite everybody, please come, any concerns. That's a good place to discuss issues. Thank you.
Hello, Anita Burden with the Safety Committee, and first of all, I want to thank Lou Ortega for the work that she has done in making sure that we all work together as committees with the safety, lodge, and facilities. So thank you, Lou, for doing what you're doing. Also, our safety committee, we actually are still working on our crosswalk, so it's going to be a while, and as it's been previously stated, things do not happen right away, it takes time. So just know that we are working on that. Our cameras, before we had said they were security cameras, we are changing because we are changing the name to just cameras because they are surveillance, so it's just opportunities for if anything happens, you can go back and look at it, but it's not a security camera. So thank you for that. Our emergency telephone access, we're looking at that because that's the one that they're looking at the pool area where if there is an emergency, the access to that. So we have different plans that we're looking at our next meeting, what we're going to do about that. And Jerry Lupo has been very gracious in helping us work with room identification. So that's in place. Our getting back to our crosswalks, basically we're going to come to finance for money because it does cost money, and we have some people in mind and some numbers in mind. Basically, that's what we're doing. We meet the first Tuesday of each month, 10 o'clock in the morning in the RCN building. If there's any safety concerns, please come to our meeting or let us know. I'd also like to recognize a person that has been very valuable with us, and that's Jerry Monahan, because anything that I need a question to, an answer to a question, he's just readily available. And cooperation is the key in a community like this. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marion Aaron, co-chair of the Social Committee. First, I want to thank all the help and support that we've had regarding Survey Monkey. We were a little bit late getting it to you, Martha, and we apologise for that. However, one question that has been given to us is it possible we could have a hard copy available for people to collect at the lodge for those older residents, perhaps not quite as savvy with their computers? They still want to participate.
For all surveys.
Great. The fashion show, we're calling all models, ladies, roll up, roll up. We're not looking for 6'6" anorexic ladies. We're looking for people, all shapes and sizes. So come along and find out what it's about. It should be a really fun event. I now have an apology for the gentleman. I'm afraid for some reason the gentlemen outfitters don't want to lend us clothes. So we'll keep working on it, and perhaps next year we can get some of our wonderful, handsome young guys to join us. New Year's Eve, back by popular demand, is Tony, our DJ last year. He was absolutely fabulous. The little gifts that he gave out seemed to be more popular than any social committee member, so obviously he's rehired. We've also booked the same caterer, Mr. Worldwide Catering. The food last year was very good, but we did receive some complaints about the length of time it took for the last tables to be called, if you like, to enjoy the food. So we have spoken to him, he's coming to a meeting, and we're hoping to have a double line of service so we can speed this up. So bear with us, we are trying. Date of our next meeting is Thursday, the 3rd of August. As always, everybody's welcome. Come along, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't want, but most importantly, come along and help us. Thank you very much.
She's back. Okay, so far as a community ambassador, I just want to say that I am so happy and proud to be in this community. We have a great reputation. Yesterday, we had the Beaumont Police here. People were concerned about some activities that have been happening here. So 2 of the policemen that were here said the joke that's going around in the police department is that, oh my God, we'd be so glad when we get 55 so we can come over here for 4 seasons. So just know that it is well received here. And one of the things they really wanted to make sure that we all do is that you check your car before you go in your house. Make sure it is locked and make sure that you take, if you have to keep your car in the driveway, take your garage clicker out of the car so that if anyone is using a Slim Jim, then to get in, and they have no reports of that. But most of it is, he said that they keep a record of everything that's happening, all of you that call in with whatever is going on. So most of it has been unlocked cars. So please just make sure you do that so we can get more people in here, like the police, and say that they want to come as soon as they get 55. If you notice on First Street, as you go down First Street, there's a lot of work that's being done. And on that, it's per the Beaumont City, they're saying it's gas lines. They are moving gas lines. I did ask them, as they are moving the gas lines, would they be increasing the road so that we could have 2 lanes as you go down past Coles? So he said that person at Beaumont City Hall said, well, it depends on how many people call the question. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. But anyway, please, if you have an opportunity, please just call if you have to bombard the Beaumont City Hall. Tell them that due to traffic, while they're moving those lines to increase the road so we will have at least a 2-lane road going toward Pennsylvania. Otherwise, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll be moving on to our review and act upon club and group applications. A couple of things that I just wanted to bring up as I forgot to announce regarding the furniture for the pool area has been ordered. Unfortunately, due to high demand, as everybody can imagine, it is summer season. There is an extended time it takes to get that furniture. We expect it's going to be delivered in about 5 weeks. So initially, when the pool opens, you may want to bring your own lounge chair or chair until we get that delivered. Okay, we have 1 club or group application. That's the BACE neighborhood group. Just wanted to clarify: is this open to all residents, if they, even though they don't live on the BACE streets? Awesome. It is open to all homeowners.
I guess my concern is how do you manage, say 500 homeowners decide your street party is the place to be, how do you manage 500 members in a street party environment? That's my concern.
I don't, it's something to discuss when they submit their next year application for July 4th. Right now, they just want to organize, and they're asking to be considered as a recognized group.
And I've got a question. When they're getting ready to organize this, are they going to put something in here that when they have a special party gathering, that they at least let us know that they're going to have this ahead of time?
They did. They came to the board and asked for permission to have their block party.
Oh, I know they did that, but I'm saying if they organize and we approve them having this club group, well, the group, every time they have a function after they've been approved, will we be notified before it's happening, so we know it's happening? Yes?
Say so.
Do what?
Say you want them to.
Yeah, I like that put into the request for application, that we're advised.
The board will be, well, the board will be advised because any organized event that will affect neighbors on the street, closures of streets, does have to get permission by the board of directors.
But they should also be required to advise the homes around them, just as we've required before. The
Understood.
people adjacent to the party.
Understood. That would be a condition of the approval of the event.
Okay.
If I may add something, why we want to be a group is so that we have a method with which to inform the community appropriately. We went to the Breeze, we went to the AM News, I went to lodge personnel, and they would not communicate our party because we were not a recognized group. So what we were informed was you can either be a club or a group. And here's the application, and once you're recognized by the board and the association, we then have avenues to realistically communicate any of the activities we would want to put forth. So that was why we did the application as a group. We don't want it to be a club, we're not gathering dues, but we do want to organize events to invite people, and we want to have a regular method to communicate it.
Will you have some form of a charter or some
My understanding is a group does not need that.
I know you don't need it, but something explaining some procedures.
We will look into that. Bring that up on the next meeting, but we have not thought of that at this point.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to accept the BACE as a neighborhood group.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded to accept the BACE neighborhood group recognized by the HOA. Just a point of discussion. If you have any activity that will affect access through the streets, you must come to the board first. You understand that? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is to review and act upon homeowner facility use requests. And we have 4, starting on page 49 through 53. There are no special requirements. And so this is for informational purposes only. We'll go ahead and turn this over to Cindy Graves, our fabulous activities director.
We love you too.
Yeah.
I know we love you.
Oh, on with the show. Okay.
Time's up. Time's up.
Okay, well, you're lucky, because I am doing short. I overdid my time in executive session today, so they're taking it out of my hide right now. Bottom line is, I want to thank everybody that participated in the 4th of July event we did. That was so awesome. We had 72 winners of trophies with all of our clubs and groups. It was huge. It was so fun. Everybody did such a great job.
And it was kind of funny because we had people on the courts and in the fields and everywhere else for bocce, shuffle, tennis and everything really early, like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then people were toasted by like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So, yeah, and I'm not talking imbibed, I'm just talking fried. So it ended up just being really neat. We had our little band afterward, and people brought tons of food. One thing I'm going to suggest, I know it's a little premature because July for 2018 is a ways away, but we have only one issue, and that is because we provided the chicken and the first people in line looked like, you know, if you have chicken for 300 or 400, it looks like a lot of chicken, except if you are in the first 20 people. Right? So my suggestion is always to remind your friends, go conservatively and take 1 or 2 pieces until the whole line goes through, because we have the last 20 people totally eating desserts and side dishes. Okay? So, and feel free to bring more entrees, and then we also won't have the chicken hoarding going on. That'll help. All right, so it was really great, totally appreciate it, and it was a fun day for all, and thanks for coming and being part of the big Four Seasons family all together on our lunch party day. It was good. And next, Amphitheater Concert Series. We have such a fun band coming out this Sunday actually, and they're called My Generation. They're the British Invasion Band, Marion, and it's going to be a good one. Thank you all for being so uncertain about where to park your chairs this previous one, so we didn't have the big issues of people putting their chairs out the Saturday before. So that was self-policing, and that worked out really great. I want to give you a little note to keep in the back of your mind and to tell your buddies that the rule for where it's going to be when we have an excessive heat warning, okay, is this. 2 o'clock on Sunday, the day of the event, if it is 100 degrees or over, you can bring your chair in here as we fake an amphitheater, okay? So 100 degrees or over, because we don't want you guys adding to the entertainment of passing out before the music starts, okay? So jot that down. I know everybody was calling nonstop all morning. When are you gonna, where's it gonna be, blah, blah, blah. When's Cindy gonna decide? Well, so that's, now you know, and we got it approved today officially that could be the policy. So, bring your umbrella if you want to while you're waiting, if it's a little toasty. It is supposed to be warm this coming Sunday. However, we're hoping that by some act of God, it will cool down a little bit to not be 100 degrees so that it will be comfortable for everybody on Sunday. And that starts at 7. Once again, please remember, don't place your chairs out in the amphitheater before 11, okay, on Sunday day. And I think that's it. Yay! Thanks.
Thank you, Cindy. As of May 30th, we were tracking a total of 355 issues. 310 of those were responded to within 2 hours, and 65 of those were closed within 48 hours. In addition to those issues, we are tracking 224 enforcement issues. This includes trash cans, realtor signs, oil in the driveway, age verification. By the way, I have 80 people that have not returned their age verification. So I encourage you to talk to your neighbors and make sure those come in. 224 of those issues. We did add an additional 69 of those in the month of June. and we closed 109 of those by the end of the month. So if you please get an enforcement letter, make sure you're responding as quickly as possible. I know sometimes it's, vacation time and you're not in the area to pull those trash cans in. Ask a neighbor to put them behind the fence for you. All right, on pages 56 through 104 is the management updates and activity log. Did the board have any questions regarding those reports? And then on pages 105 through 215 are the communications that we received from friends and neighbors. Did the board have any questions regarding the correspondence? Very good. Then we have no unfinished business. We'll go ahead and move right into new business. And the first item on the agenda is on page 216 to 220. This was the addition to the community guidelines for the facility guidelines and revision regarding the pool and spa rules. That was sent out to the membership in May. We have received a number of responses. In total, we received 153 responses out of 1,500, almost homeowners. So either you're all on vacation or it's not that hot of an issue. Out of the 153, 135 agreed with the facility guidelines, 16 disagreed, and 2 had no votes. And on the proposed rule regarding the pool and spa rules, 129 agreed out of the 153, 17 disagreed, and 7 had no vote. So at this time, I will ask the board to consider adopting the rules or making recommended changes. You received all the comments. Were there any questions regarding the comments?
Yes. Guests should be able to walk on, it states, number one. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. It states on the number 1, page 217, guests should always be accompanied by owners. Yes, the bathroom is obvious exception. Then it states guests should be able to walk on pavements and trails. That when you're saying they should be accompanied, and then it looks like you're asking them, or they're stating they should be able to walk on them, to me it reads alone.
The change was to amend number 3 to state that guests must be accompanied by a 4 Seasons at Beaumont adult resident when using the facility. That's the change versus you at all times.
Okay, glad you're reading comments.
Those are comments. What we're talking about the actual change in the language of the rule.
So I'd like to make a motion that the board approve the amendments.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded for the approval of the amendments to the guidelines with respect to facilities and to the pool and guests. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Next item on the agenda is page 221, and this is a request from the Communications Committee. They're asking for their own subscription to SurveyMonkey rather than utilizing the association subscription. The cost is $300 per year.
Is association subscription limited to number of users?
No. It was a matter of the Communication Committee had asked for passwords and access to our subscription, and I wasn't sure if we wanted to keep information separate, board business versus committee business.
I'll make a motion that we approve the subscription for Communications Committee to SurveyMonkey.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded to approve the Communications Committee request for access to the SurveyMonkey with their own account. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Pages 222 through 226 is the request from the Facilities Committee for the automated pool and spa pool systems. This includes the lodge as well as the summit. Fred, I didn't know if you wanted to make a presentation or have somebody from Facilities answer questions.
Some of the key reasons why this project surfaced. There's really kind of four main things. One is the health and safety of our residents. We've had residents up at the summit with the getting results, getting eye irritation, rashes, premature bleaching of their hair, premature bleaching of their swimsuits, and one of the individuals had to seek medical attention from a doctor and get a prescription to take care of the rash from the chlorine. The chlorine has to be at 5 parts per million in that enclosed pool at the summit in accordance with the health department. Additionally, the issue on the high chlorine content is deteriorating the equipment up there. The off-gassing from the pool is corrosive and has corroded everything from stainless steel light plates to locking mechanisms in the door, and also had adverse effect on the HVAC equipment. The third main thing is the health and safety requirements that have changed. We have to keep the chlorine level at 5 parts per million as mentioned, because it's considered by the health department as a public pool, as opposed to your backyard pool, which may only need 1 part per million of chlorine. The summit pool is in a confined space. In that confined space and that high chlorine content, it gets up into the air, and it isn't dissipated like the chlorine in the pool here at the lodge, with the open air nature of it. Newer requirements from the health department have changed, require we record from each pool the chlorine level and temperature daily and create a database and archive and an audit trail, so that when the health department comes out to inspect, we can provide proof that we have kept records of the equipment. And the fourth thing is it reduces our liability by being able to immediately know via Wi-Fi connected to management and the pool technician's cell phone if there's an equipment failure. You may say, well, why is that a big deal? Well, there's at least one court case on record where a resort area was sued $40,000 because an individual was sitting in a spa, the equipment malfunctioned, and he was subjected to a superchlorinated dose of chlorine and got burned to the point that he had to seek medical attention. So the option is to do nothing and have the equipment deteriorate. People keep complaining about medical problems related to that, and also we have to comply with statutory requirements from the health department. So based upon that, and studying it, the board discusses at great length today, and approved by the finance committee. I recommend, make a motion that we approve the expenditure to take care of this thing, a small part of which arguably is covered by reserves, as I understand it. So that's my motion.
And I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the automated pool and spa pool system for the lodge and the summit pools and spa. Now, Fred, when we take over the new facility at the courts, will we face a similar issue?
No, it's a different manufacturer, Hayward, versus the Beck system, but it'll be able to be Wi-Fi connectivity to management and the pool technician, so that we can track these things and nip problems in the bud to avoid further expensive repairs and health hazards to our people.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is on page 227. These are the movie theater rules, recommendation from the Lodge Committee. These are new rules, so they would also be required to go out to homeowner for 30-day homeowner comment, if adopted.
So I make a motion that we adopt the movie theater rules and send them out for homeowner comment.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to send the movie theater rules out for comment from the membership. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries.
Next item on the agenda is on page 228, and this is the Lodge RV parking. These are recommended changes and additions from the Rules and Regulations Committee. There were two separate issues that were being addressed. One is that guests are allowed to park the RVs in the lodge parking lot in the designated areas. The rules did not specify for a specific time frame. And so it was recommended that by the Rules and Regulations Committee that the guest RVs be allowed to park in the lodge for a period of 24 hours. The second issue that was brought up is when the association has large events, PG 55 or similar activities, it is recommended that the lodge parking lot be restricted to resident parking for events only. So RVs could not park in the lodge parking lot during that time frame. Other than that, there have been no recommended changes to the RV rules. You know, the homeowners can still park in front of their homes within the specified period of time. The rules were reviewed because we had a number of residents come in, park in the lodge parking lot. We had 7 of them at one time, which unfortunately we have neighbors right next to the parking lot and they felt they were living next to a KOA. So they had asked for consideration.
Can I have a question? On the residents that park in front of their home, if they need to park there for more than 24 hours, can they get special permission?
We have been granting special permission.
Yeah, and this rule does not change that. This is specifically to guests that come in with their RVs and park in the lodge park.
Homeowners and guests.
This is specific to guests.
Guests only. Homeowners are not to use the lodge parking lot. Homeowners are to park their RVs in front of their homes. There are certain special circumstances. For example, the Springdale homeowners and some of our Monarch homeowners, they don't have an area in front of their home to park. And so if they do want to use the parking lot, they have been granted special permission to come in for 24 hours and park the RV. This would go out to homeowner comment for 30 days.
I'll go ahead and make the motion in reference to the large RV parking rules.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to send the revised rules for RV parking in the lodge area for guests out for comment. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On page 229 is a request from the African American Culture Club and Activities Director for an event called Jazz Under the Stars. And it looks like there's $350 being requested to host this event.
I make a motion that we accept the proposal from the African American Culture Club for a cost of $350 for their Jazz Under the Stars.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve $350 contribution to the AACC Community Uni Jazz Under the Stars concert. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And the last item on the agenda is on pages 230 through 233. This is to review and act upon blessing of the animals, the Tails and Trails group request.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the request for the blessing of the animals on October 7, 2017 from 4 to 6 p.m.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve blessing of the animals, tails and trails. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's all I have.
No further business to come before the board at this time.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded, we adjourn. Done.